Yes, and I will zoom in because I know this 200 zoom the preferred. Up, and I think, okay, we have everything here.
Maybe a bit more.
Bit more, okay.
Yeah.
240,
Okay, that's nice.
okay. Okay, so welcome everyone on today's Metal3 Community meeting. My name is Adam Rosman and I will be your host today. Today is the 17th of June, 2026. And let me check quickly the chat. We have new participant. Let me quickly open all the usual windows that I open. I think we don't have, right? But folks, Armin, have you joined before? Anyways, if anyone would like to introduce yourself, feel free to do it. It's not mandatory, so if you don't want to, no pressure. Okay. Yeah, no worries. Your environment is noisy, no problem. Okay, let's continue then. So reminders, please remember that the meeting is recorded. If you would like to have the project with contributions and you are new to the project or you don't know what to contribute to, then feel free to filter for good first issue and have wanted labels. Good first issues will go away eventually to avoid AI slop. Maybe we have wanted, maybe we will have a different system that is up for discussion. If you would like to create such issues, feel free to do it, but please make sure that if you make a good first issue or have wanted issue, then please describe it in detail, because most likely you won't be the one who is implementing it. If your organization would be willing to officially acknowledge the adoption of MetaCube, same as these other organizations have done, that would be also a great help for the project. You can do that by pushing a pull request to the adopters.md in the root of the community repo and then adding a record of your organization, same way as the others have done. And that would help us gauge the level of adoption, and that would help CNCF better gauge the health of the project. If you are experiencing issues related to your pull request or labels not working or commands not working or CI having problems on periodics, on GitHub Actions, anywhere, please feel free to open an issue in the affected repository and then link that issue to the MetaCube CI tracker. I have a feeling that this tracker will get much more attention in the future as we go and slowly open up the whole CI process for the wider community, same as the release team. But again, feel free to use it. Then if you are interested about any other statistics, feel free to follow the links in this document or on the main page, on main GitHub page of the project. You know most of these, but just so you know, we have actually a new one that you might have not heard about because it has been in development for some time. This will also eventually live in Oracle Cloud because that's the CNCF provided environment, but it's up it's open for the public. You can use it, and it will be part of the project, and eventually the source code will be also in project infra. What this is that we have a colleague who built a log collection system that is able to collect logs from every part of the MetaCube CI. Right now, this is only pulling in from Jenkins jobs, and you can filter for Jenkins jobs. You can play with this. It's open. No registration or anything is required, but eventually this will also collect logs from GitHub runners and also from Prow and from basically everywhere, and we have the ability also to generate logs in the end-to-end tests within the Go code or Python code or in any other like actual test code, and be displayed here directly instead of pushing it to standard output in Jenkins or in Prow. And you will be able to cross-reference different jobs, and you can like filter through bulk or in bulk through the jobs. You can see this is an integration job, but you can make your own filters, combine them, check specific time windows. So now it's stable enough so that it's out for like a test drive. And please feel free to discuss or ping me, for example, if you have any request or opinion related to this one. Is there any question, comment related to this? Oh, let me check the chat. Okay. Then and one more thing. If you need API request, please ask me. API is closed. We give out API access manually, but I think that will be up to the maintainers eventually to decide that how we will manage and sort out API access for this system. Okay, so community working groups, if there are no questions. Ironic scalability. I see, Dimitri, you have a few items.
Yep, I've been quite busy the last 2 weeks. I prompted by a customer bug. Finally, I got an excuse to work on scalability a bit. My goal was to hunt down and remove all places where we call Ironic API without a huge need. And boy, did I find many of them. So this is a listing of all merged patches. We have one node get API in host firmware settings controller, one in host firmware components controller. We got up to 5 redundant calls in BMH controller, which I managed to remove by caching the node and updating it only when we do update something. And there is a separate change for caching Ironic endpoint status. So things like we validate microversions, validate contactor list. So the successful result is cached here. I also created a small fix to Armin's patch for ports to make sure the ports are only loaded in states where we can actually create ports and not any transit state where it's useless anyway. So yeah, I think I managed to reduce the number of Ironic API calls quite significantly here. There are 2 follow-up changes spotted by Zane. One refers to the fact that we don't have timeout on Ironic client whatsoever, so it potentially can hang for a long time, especially during this initialization. And the other one is that when IRSO integration is enabled, we cache TLS-CA certificates in a temporary directory, but never remove them. So it can be quite a lot of files eventually with time. The second patch fixes that. So these 2 last patches need review still. We got through a few rounds of Copilot, but no humans have looked yet. Just post them today. Everything else is for your information. If you see strange bugs, especially around like cached node object or cached endpoint parameters, let me know. I'll be out for the whole next week, so I'll happily ignore your feedback. Just kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding that I'll be out. But next week, I'll be happy to follow up on anything you spot in this. And that's me. I don't have any other plans for now. I'm going to present this all to the customer and see what they say. Maybe they make me do more work, which is not going to be bad. Questions, comments?
Just one question that's a little bit selfish. Now that you were working in the in between the BM1 and Ironic, have you by any chance run into this topic of the kernel parameters and their cleanup, or not cleanup, but the reason that we are kind of rewriting them? If not, if you haven't touched that part of the API, it's fine. I'm just asking because I will pick up again that ticket where I was working with that.
Are you asking about the recent ironic changes, or are you asking about your patch?
My related to my stuff. So basically just like, because I had this problem that I was writing it and I thought like I had to update it all the time, but it turns out that for some reason it was overwritten. So if you haven't worked with that part of the API, then it's fine.
I haven't touched it, but I think back then I had some reasonable guess of why it would be happening. So if you check our history of our conversations on the pull request itself, I believe at least I had a guess, and I'm
Yeah.
happy
Yep,
to
you had.
revive this conversation next week.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And you mentioned some recent changes. What recent changes you meant?
Ironic has fixed quite a few CVEs recently, which may or may not be related to what we did. And one of the things is Ironic is now going to strictly validate kernel parameters. Before we would just YOLO and basically any string you provide we would insert into iPXE template. Now we are going to actually verify that they make sense. That should not affect most cases, unless you have some really wacky kernel parameters, but just be aware of this. We're not going to verify the list of parameters themselves, just the format is correct.
So you mean in format is that like
Yeah, you
key
don't have
equals
new
value?
lines or,
Okay.
some strange symbols or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't try to insert iPXE things like, I don't know, use two vertical slashes to, I mean, how's it called? Two pipes to insert iPXE code, things like that. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. I think that we even discussed like or touched on that point that.
yeah, I very carefully commented on your patch at that point because I was aware of the issue, but it wasn't very good, so I really tried to make it low key.
Okay, but then from BMO side, we don't have to pay attention to that. That will be now handled by Ironic on its own.
Yeah, although you can again do some webhook level validation, so it doesn't have new lines or anything crazy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Awesome developments. Good to hear about these things.
Yeah, because new lines are easy to insert in YAML files, right? So maybe filtering new lines specifically is a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds awesome. And I assume that for this too, that's still up for review. You are because it's a quite fresh. You are asking for review. Yeah. Okay. Good. Anything else? Anyone? Any comment, question in the chat or in voice? It seems not. Quite a lot of good info. And you have a question related to the AI. Is this group still active? Yes, it is. But things are cooking in the background. So we from our side, we now quite extensively use AI to analyze the CI. But the current solution we have is a little bit dependent on our way of working and of course based on like commercial subscriptions or like the CNCF maintainer subscriptions and other commercial subscriptions for AI models. But just today I was talking with Kashif and we I think came to the conclusion that as a zero step, we will push some MD files and some not tutorial but a guide on how someone could run like a Kiro or a Copilot or some of these clients with whatever AI you have. So basically, in a bring your own AI format and analyze test results for your own pull requests, for periodics, for things like that, based on what experience we have with this. So that's one thing. I will just write it here that bring your own AI CI check so that anyone in the community can use that and you are not dependent on us. And then the other thing we are discussing, but it's a bit further in the future, if there would be a possibility to have a cost-effective AI bot that reports the AI the CI status every day once, so that the whole community has a better view on it and sees it a bit more concisely, because it's understandable that people don't want to check the whole CI status each jobs, and people only notice the problems when their pull requests or their image build or some personal thing fails. So that's what's going on related to AI in the background. I don't know if it's answer to your question, but it's not really happening openly because, as I understand, I guess every organization needed time to kind of get accustomed to using these tools.
I see. Thank you.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. Anyone, any question, comments? Okay. Then artifacts. Yeah, these artifact topics are still like outstanding in the sense that we have the discussion and the IPA pipeline is still like not my highest priority, but it's not forgotten. I have ticket for that. What was more pressing is about the fact that the IPA in the Open Infra Europe or Nordics Artifactory cache was out of date. Then I had a fix for that. That got merged, but then I noticed the credential had a formatting problem that caused a very complicated error, but that's now sorted out too. But then now that we actually have cache refresh, in a sense that we delete the cache, so that newer version can be recached, downloaded into the cache, then we noticed that the address that most of the jobs are using is not the correct one, because it basically touches the backend of the cache, thus not triggering actual caching. It should touch the actual proxy endpoint, not the cache. And then of course Dimitri commented very correctly on the Slack discussion that we should also include retries. In the IPA downloader, if I remember correctly, retry option has been added by Tero. But I will go through all the repos and see, check both the address that we are using and make sure it's correct, and also check the retry situation everywhere. So I can comment it here that wrong address. We have caching, cache cleanup is running now, and then I will check retry situation. Okay. Yeah. Any questions, comments, or other artifact topics you folks would like to talk about? Okay, then release team and roadmap. Yeah, I know when I was away, there has been one community meeting, but I am happy to see that this has been updated. So yes, we have a new release team for this cycle, and thank you for all the new members for joining this cycle. And yeah, I don't think there are any special comments, questions related to that team yet, because there have been only one release activity, this 35.0.1. But that's an interesting thing that you commented here, Dimitri, because the ironic image 35.0.1 was released, and I don't think that one went out with the 35.0.1 ironic.
Sorry, couldn't quite get what you mean.
So we have released ironic image 35.0.1 also, because of the regressions that were breaking PIX use cases.
Yep, I think it was a lot of things at the same time.
But what I'm thinking now is that I don't know if the ironic image 35.0.1 went out with ironic source 35.0.1.
We never match patch releases.
Okay.
It has never happened.
Okay.
We own so major minor match between ironic and ironic image, but the patch releases are independent. So the 35.0.1 was released yesterday and includes any ironic changes so far. We don't use releases, we just pull them from the branch. So that includes everything that was in stable 2026.1 by that point. And also includes fixes for iPixie and also includes a fix for regression and sushi. So that's important release to update too. We probably need a release announcement. I don't think we've done it. And we also need something from 33 and 34. They don't have the iPixie problem, but they do have more upstream changes we want to release.
Okay, well, just what I wanted to say that then we probably will need to release a 35.0.2 ironic image that is pointing to this one, this source release.
Okay, it's a typo for me. It was ironic image. Okay,
Oh,
fixing
okay.
it.
Okay. Then okay.
Sorry, I didn't realize. Yeah, I specifically mean ironic image. I'm not sure the situation about ironic releases. Should be we'll probably have more than one at this point.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't. I think on the release we didn't highlight ironic. We even discussed it, but I didn't know that there have been CV fixes on ironic source. So in the ironic image, I think we haven't commented anything for ironic. So we just in the release note we only have the ironic image changes. So usually you have this section here at the bottom that talks about ironic also, but we left it empty. We could edit it if you would like with the ironic CV stuff and add it here as additional notes.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I'm not gonna have time until my vacation, so if anyone can do that.
Yeah, I can just tell me where I find these CVs, and then I will add them here.
I'll try to figure that out.
Yeah. If you ping me when you have time and send me just the minimal info, I can find them and I will add them. But good that you mentioned this.
Also, did we update any of the dependencies? Because I noticed that there was a few ironic dependencies that also had CV fixes recently. So I was wondering if we included those there.
That's a long-standing pain point. No, we have not. We could have done that for 35. We struggle with bug fix branches like things like 33 and 34 because for upstream stable branches, I mean, for OpenStack stable branches, they maintain a list of dependencies, although I'm not sure if they proactively update them with CVEs. So that's a bit of a mess, to be honest. That's something we really should sit down and figure out at some point how we do that. At this point, if you know some particularly bad CVs, it may make sense to just go ahead and manually update the constraint file.
Yeah, the one I had in mind was about Oslo. I think it's Oslo cache or something like that. I don't remember which one, or messaging. I don't remember. But one of the Oslo libraries, apparently something with RabbitMQ, so we don't really use it in the in our use case. So I guess we're fine, but it's usually well, it always pop up in scans.
Can imagine, yeah, feel free to update it. It's indeed also the messaging, and we don't use RabbitMQ indeed, so we're not affected, but yeah, I don't mind.
I'm just adding these. And when you said update the upper constraint, you meant that the upper constraint on the branch, on the 35, release 35 branch.
Yep. I think we're running on constraint on main.
Yeah, on main, it's the whatever is the master upstream OpenStack constraint file. Okay, any other questions, comments related to release team? Okay, if nothing, then discussion topics. PMO and ESO jobs running on Ironic.
Yeah, I want to give a heads up about this because I think there's a bit of a risk of regression there, and the learning community would be upset if it happens. So we are replacing the Metal3 integration job which we had, which was based on Metal3 defense, which nobody likes, with two jobs that run BMO end-to-end tests and ESO functional tests accordingly. I pasted the link to Ansible playbooks for both of the tests if you want to see how they implement it. It's more because first be aware of that because there may be again people coming and asking questions about these jobs. Second, please be mindful of these jobs when you change anything about the CI scripts. Right, we already had situation where I kind of assume there's a template file or like a VBMC configuration file which is now gone and the job is now failing by the way, so that I already have a patch to update it. But this thing doesn't work the way it's written because you see it's accessing VBMC-CTL YAML and it no longer exists. I have an update for this, but be mindful. It doesn't mean you cannot change, but maybe coordinate with me or somebody from the upstream Ironic team that the scripts are going to be changed. At some point, we're probably going to pin BMO version, but right now, main BMO branch contains a lot of very useful new tests, so we cannot do this without losing a lot of coverage. So yeah, if we change some defaults, change some hard-coded values, if we change some allocations, please check if you're breaking this or talk to me or Ricardo or Yuri Machnur or anyone from our upstream team.
Yeah, sure. Let's hope I won't forget. But yeah, certainly we will do. So
I have a question. So which scripts you mean, Dimitri, that we should be mindful?
I know if you move around files, for example, I don't know, rename some scripts that we are running, these jobs are going to be broken. Nothing in the GitHub CI is going to tell you that. But,
You mean in the event or?
no, the new jobs don't use the event. The new jobs are
Okay.
BMO end-to-end job and IRSO functional job accordingly. So they're pretty similar to what is running in BM. And, well, they're similar to what is running in Ironic Image CI. They also build a custom Ironic image.
Is there any periodic jobs running which we can check? Like, I don't know, every day or once a week, so we know if we can also from our side check if there is something broken there.
They're not running as periodics, but there is a build history, which, let me just find it for you somewhere.
Yeah, otherwise it's really tough to know if you are changing something, but you don't know where it is going to be built. So there is always be this drift.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world if something gets broken, but if you can avoid breakage, you can coordinate it, it's going to be easier.
Yeah, that's for sure. I just wanted to know if there is something readily that we can check. But yeah, if not, then of course we should communicate.
Yeah, so this is build history from Zoo. As you see, BMO job is currently broken. I have a patch to fix it. I can paste it too if anyone's curious.
This we might have to coordinate a little closer, also as part of our CI duty, and later when we have a CI team for the Metal3 project, so that those people look into these tests also, so that we have a better understanding where these tests are running. Because this is in one way useful for the Metal3 community also, because we get kind of a preview on how the new Ironic behaves with the existing BMO. But yeah, it's a bit. It will be a bit challenging to maintain, but nothing I think that we cannot handle. But might be a good idea to keep an eye on this from Metal3 side also.
Yeah, that's
because
definitely.
Yeah, because we plan to have much more tests on the E2E, and also as I said, we try to integrate the E2E with the local action system. Of course, that can be optional, so there could be a switch so that you can turn it off. I already was thinking about that, but still good to keep an eye on this. So thanks for sharing. And I'm wondering. Yeah, I will think a little bit more about this, but certainly it will be more stable than the devenv. Devenv is not suitable for CI, and I think we can soon get rid of that from every CI, and it will be purely a development tool.
Yeah. On the same note, I just wanted to mention the same as you did, that we are in the process of making less and less devenv involvement in the CI. So pretty soon you'll see that as well. So if that's also something that you need to know, Dimitri, we are currently working on that.
Yeah, cool. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get rid of the old job, which was defense based. It also provides pretty poor signal for Ironic. Unfortunately, the job is still broken for now. One thing to keep in mind: OpenDev nodes have first very minimum images. So, for example, I have to install a lot of packages that we assume are just present on GitHub runners, and also it has very strict firewall rules. Basically, they deny by default. So right now, I think once again it's unable to access sushi tools because we don't set up firewall for that, and I have to set up firewall for that correctly.
Yep. But anyhow, it sounds good. VBM-CTL is still being kind of actively developed, but I think most of the core functionality is there. And just FYI, there is also, I don't know if there is open like public ticket about it, but I know that someone will work on integrating VBM-CTL into devenv, so that devenv will gradually get rid of the current VM provisioning method of the combination of Ansible and XML files and all these things, and will use what these tests are using. So that will be also something to keep an eye out for. But that won't affect your test, but it might affect what is in BMCT.
Yes, that is. I have a PR open for that in Devem. I think Dimitri reviewed it a little bit, so it's in draft right now. But yeah, and also we are removing deploy script and this run local script from BMO, and they will be moved to Devem. So in the developments, if someone want to use them, they can use it, but they will not be used in the CI. So
Yeah.
I don't think the Dimitri stats are related to that, but just wanted to give the heads up.
Yeah. Have you already wrote the PR for moving it or not yet? Because if not yet, then I can take care of that, because anyways that was my request, because I really need it.
Yep. Okay.
To be available. And I also have a big patch that actually makes run local run with read only. That was never merged into the BMO, but it's there as a PR, because we decided a long time ago that run local has to go from there, even on that PR. So it would anyway need to be combined with that patch. So I can take care of that. Okay. Any other comments, questions? Okay, then last thing for today is triage. Let's see. I don't know. We hadn't had triaging for a long time, but it's not that bad. It's actually not that bad. So I triaged one today, I think. Just updated. Okay. And let's create it on. That's better. And from the bottom. Okay. Ironic external IP does not support IPv6. Yeah. But that seems to be like a feature request. I don't think we ever said that it would, or is it there?
I think it's a reasonable assumption. It's also a pretty trivial bug because we just need to apply square brackets to Ironic external IP.
But is it a bug, or is it a new feature technically that we never allowed it?
I mean, I don't think we can call IPv6 support a new feature at this point. It kind of has been assumption long ago.
Okay. I mean, yeah, surely we have the support in the Kubernetes, but this is the part that reaches out from Kubernetes. So, but yeah, I understand what you are saying. But this actually ties into another stuff that multiple community members mentioned, that this might be actually something that we have to consider. I know Nutti worked a lot with IPv6 support in Devenv and in BMO and even like building a full IPv6 only environment to test some features. But what was kind of the learning from that is using raw IPv6 addresses gets very messy. So I was wondering if actually we might want to somehow push for domain names in some way, even for ironic endpoints, but because we have DNS server technically in the form of DNS mask.
It's not a terrible idea, but keep in mind that external HTTP URL is supplied to BMCs. And configuring DNS for the BMC is a bit of a different ball of wax.
Yeah, okay. I will accept this and put here, and yeah, let's call it a bug. Put that bug. Priority, medium, project, code map, and then it's fine for this. Okay, let's go to the next one. Create reconciler for ironic resources.
Yeah, that's idea that Zane gave me. So I put it here in backlog to follow up. Essentially, right now we kind of use a pull approach for ironic customer sources. I'm talking specifically about IRSO integration. And it's probably more reasonable to have a reconciler that watches these resources and then updates the cache. It's kind of quite a bit of work, so I did not just do that like with previous patches, but it's at least sounds reasonable to research.
Yep, sure. IP pool accepts pre-allocations where same IP is allocated. Yes, I did have a meeting about this, or listening in on a meeting about this was discussed, so I know about this. And this is legitimately a bug. It has quite a detailed description, but this is what the title says exactly. And this does happen and has been reproduced to my knowledge. So unless, yeah, I think you can even see that pre-allocation does not concern itself with the pool properly. Kind of bug. And I don't know if Kashif, you know, or you are still in the call, but is it being actively worked on, or is it in backlog at the moment? I don't remember. It's not in the call. Adil, maybe? Do you know? Don't.
I'm not sure. We can ask Peppy.
Yeah, we will ask her.
But I'm not sure. Yeah.
I think her here. Okay. Here's so integration for credentials in E2E test. Shows explicitly for EMI. This can be, yes. EMO now has IRSA integration. Point to the ironic instance. Ah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the IRSO integration I've been talking about. We're pretty cool to test that.
I agree. Okay. IP ports with identical name prefix failed IP address allocation due to name collision. Yeah, again, I heard about this also. This is legit. I think this was also reproduced. Yeah, looks like it's kind of bug. It's on the roadmap too. And I think this actually, this one and the previous one should be also, and the plan is to deliver those for 114. I have to check, go back and check and add it to 114. I forgot. Okay. When provisioning BMH in BMAS manner, okay. A non-admin user has very limited ability to identify and resolve issues.
So Jacob is from my team. He has been concerned. He's also kind of working towards providing instances to users, providing access to bare metal host API to users who don't necessarily have access to logs from BMO. So kind of put that as a placeholder there to start looking into better exposing debug information. And a part of this is the substates work, which is in progress already. But I think he had more ideas to do how to do that. I cannot speak for him, unfortunately, and also, unfortunately, he's long asleep because he's in Australia. He never attends his meetings.
Yeah, I think I understand kind of the general case here. If you remember, we had this Nutti had this issue that he opened on BMO that I was kind of backing because and that one was talking about this arbitrary data injection that is a feature of Ironic, and we wanted to open it up in the BMO so that you can inject stuff into the not yet booted file system. And the idea was behind that was actually the main idea is that we would inject a logging agent, or basically that would support the use case of we injecting a logging script that would be, of course, open source, and kind of we would provide the default logging script, and then that could send much more granular and user defined logs from the system, even before and during and parallel to the Cloud Init and the other like config tools, so that the user could kind of have an option to inject like a bit of visibility parallel to the Cloud Init. If Cloud Init fails in this BMAS manner, or you don't have Cloud Init, or you don't know what is going on, you could still point to a location on the file system and maybe even inject like a service or something. We approached it from the same problem domain, or in the same problem domain, that this is a problem that we noticed, exactly this, that if you use this as a bare metal as a service and you have all the Ironic debugging disabled, your user is using whatever image, you really have very limited support, even if like either if it's a BMAS or even if it's kind of like a Kubernetes distro that you just give to the user.
That's interesting. I did read the design proposal on that because after fixing so many CVEs, I have so many questions. But I think Jacob is more talking about installation, deployment process itself, and kind of how opaque the bare metal host API can be if you don't have access to logs. How certain things are just get stuck and you don't know why. I think he's more have these situations in mind, like making sure no error condition results in a host just not doing anything visible.
Yeah, but like my kind of experience with this is you are very limited on the BMO level with this one. You can really have proper visibility if you know what the node is doing, and the time between the restart when the ironic finishes and does the teardown agent and restarts the machine, between that time and whatever comes up after the reboot, that is a very, very big like black box that we cannot look into. And in my opinion, that's kind of the root of a lot of these debugging problems for admins. At least that was my experience. So sure, you can improve things on the BMO, but after you improve things on the BMO, you will still have a giant gap in information.
Yep, I agree. I need to drop right now, but just to plant one thought for this, and I'd really like to see a design discussion on this. Or Ironic supports serial console, so that may be another alternative, because that is going to show you even things like happening with grub, which no injected service is going to do that. So that's at least an option that we should discuss as an alternative here.
Yeah,
Because
that's
APMI provides serial console, for example, and Redfish kind of builds on top of that.
yeah, that would be even better. That would be even better.
Yep.
I agree.
Anyway, thank you, folks. Need to drop.
Yep. Okay. Okay, I will think a little bit more about this one because then I will focus more on the BMH. But I think this is it might be not a bug, but this can be accepted also. I have to put a note here that assign myself. Okay, I think we have a few things. Attack your machine user data resolves to bootstrap config RAM name instead of bootstrap data secrets name. Then never re-resolves. Same. This I am not familiar with. Who is in the course still? Adil or anyone else who might have experience with this specific problem? Any idea? I haven't run into this problem.
I need to read. Can you tag me there? I can check this.
Yeah, I will tag both of us here.
Yeah.
I also have to read this. Seems very detailed, but I didn't notice this problem. Here, okay. ISO functional 3.32.0. We run ISO functional test with latest ISO. This does not support ISO validation phase. We should make the test use. Okay. I would say and this was task, and this was a VIP on what? ISO, right? Oh, it's in iron cage. Okay. And improve BMS status visibility when referenced. Status visibility when reference CRs users are missing or inaccessible. Completely agree. Consistent needs Mac implementation in various drivers. Okay. And this is bug. This was confusing to me why these things behave differently also. So at least someone looked into that. Good. Okay, what do we have here? Few things still. VBMC and sushi tool logs. Yes, we need them. Task. Roadmap. And then matching hardware details fields in the host claim selector. This I have to read. I know there is a lot of things going on related to host claim, but this is a complex topic. So, but I guess this will be accepted. Just I have to understand we are doing detail. And then non-deterministic static IP assignment failure in the HCPS IP. Okay, and this is ongoing, needs more information. Good. Reboot file injection. Okay, and this one I will link to this one because that's what I was talking about, this reboot file injection. Okay. Okay, we have checked everything. I probably once more go through tomorrow morning. The few that I have not understood in detail. Is there any comment, question, or anything further that you would like to discuss? I know it was a bit long triaging because we had triaging quite some time ago. Okay, if nothing, then thank you for your patience and your time, and let's meet next week, same time. Until then, have a great week. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.